It's time for
Against the Spread. And it's brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Mike, take it away.
I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Too many points in Oklahoma City. I know everyone expects the favorites to bounce back. I was thinking about going Boston, but we're a little unsure about Porzingis and Jaylen Brown. I think the greatest offensive player that I've ever seen has a great opportunity to keep that game a little bit tighter. Now, does OKC bounce back? That's for the experts to decide. I just think it's too many points, and I'm taking Denver against the spread.
Billy! Gonna head over to the ice, Dano. So, Florida Panthers, Toronto Maple Leafs. The Florida Panthers are 1.5 goal favorites on the road. And I was asking around this room here, because even though, some people call me, Baby Billy from Ice Ice Baby, #1 hockey podcast that we had going for some time there until the dentist retired, and then we kind of were like, we should retire the show in his honor.
Wow,
so,
Billy Wednesday.
Why did that show end? I remver
we had to retire it in the honor of
but Roy,
the doctor retired.
Billy, I don't know. Maybe
It was honestly, it was causing inner office friction, and for the goodness of the lark, I said, you know what? We'll take a step back, give Dorky his room to shine, give Roy his room to shine, and we'll take a step back here, and that's fine. We did it for the good of the lark. Yep. So, anywho, back to the ice.
No, but wait a minute. Wait.
He took one for the team.
No, well, but but
For the lark.
Good of the lark.
Yeah. Yes, I got
That's
it.
still the name, correct?
I don't know.
I don't think it's ever been the name.
Can that go, or
I don't think the Lark has ever been
we
the
lose
name.
that in the divorce, or
I like the lark better.
Really?
Yeah.
Just the lark.
Lose the meadow?
I believe that story's still embargoed.
Let's change it to the Lark.
Anywho, so back to the ice. The Florida Panthers are 1.5 goal favorites today in Toronto against the Maple Leafs. And I said, that strikes me as odd, a road favorite by 1.5 goals. So I asked around the room, the experts here on the ice hockey. I said, what gives? And Chris said, because Panthers bounce back. That's what they do. And I said, you know what? Good enough for me. So I'm going to take the Panthers minus 1.5 on the road today against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Against the spread.
Bounce back.
And
Excellent analysis.
I
by
offered
you.
additional
Chris.
analysis. I'm like, well, the starting goalie is out for Toronto, and he's like, I got what I
It
need,
helped.
pal.
Yeah, I was sold.
I got what I need.
I was sold, and the Panthers bounced back. That's what they do. And then Mike gave me additional info. I said, great. I'm going to put that in my pocket for a rainy day. Bounce back. That's all I need. Against the
Billy
spread.
Wednesday.
Right. Cool.
I don't mean to be crass about this, but if I say to you, and Sam Bennett was cleared and immediately cleared by Jonathan Zaslow proclaiming there would be no hearing and then breaking the news exclusively and journalistically that Sam Bennett would not only not be suspended, but he would not be heard. He would not be, are you heard? Put it on the poll at LeBatard Show when you're in a hearing, at LeBatard Show.
Probably for the best, I mean.
No, because if I ask you this question, Stugotz, it's crass, but your star player is or isn't suspended or put in controversy because he elbows the opposing goalie in the head during the playoffs. Toronto and Florida are both very good. Toronto is up 1-0 in Florida. If I just tell you, hey, fan base that is cruel. In exchange for your guy is dirty, everyone hates him, Sam Bennett is trending, he's dirty, it might be an optical illusion. Oh my God, Toronto's goalie is out, and how long will he be out now?
We don't know.
But we know it's this one game, and
We know that
everyone
Joseph
thinks
Wall is going to be in there.
People think some people think because of what might have been an optical illusion and a concussion earlier in the game that there was a brain injury from a dirty hit in Panthers Toronto that not only led to Florida getting back in the game, but now leads to Florida having an advantage today. Most fans would take that, correct? If you're the Panthers and you're like, I'll take my guy injuring the goalie so he can miss a game.
So, this is what's so uncomfortable about this, because nobody in Toronto could actually help, and Stolarz could help out here. Paul Maurice kind of referenced, hey, this was our guy. He was our backup last year. Him and Sam Bennett are friends. They can't tell the truth, which is he didn't get concussed on that play. Because if they tell the truth, then the NHL, the Maple Leafs have to admit, the officials have to admit that they let a concussed dude play for 15 real-time minutes. So what happens is this whole game of ambiguity. What would be bullshit is if Toronto tries to take a shot at Bob or take a shot at Sam Bennett because of revenge or the optics of revenge.
Don't do bullshit.
No. It's not. It's flatly not what happened. It
was the shot to the face.
He did not get concussed on that. Check Chris Nowinski's timeline.
Does Toronto agree with that?
Not the fans. And you know why the fans aren't? Because they're falling for this narrative that is perpetuated by the media because the teams cannot tell the truth.
Mike.
Because it makes the officials, the Maple Leafs, and the NHL look terrible. So they're going to let this narrative go. You're going to have goons in the crowd chanting for revenge when there's nothing to avenge. It was an innocuous hit that didn't cause a concussion. It was a slap shot that he took off the face, that it knocked his helmet off. He looked dazed. He was shaking his head. He showed a bunch of symptoms, and this isn't according to me. This is according to experts.
Do you think the Leafs see it that way, though? The players, the guys playing.
I hope in that locker room is like, yeah, it was the puck off the face.
But why would you do that? Wouldn't I want my guys fired up? Be like, hey, they concussed our boy.
I think so.
They took him out.
I think it's fairly obvious, and I would be paying attention to what's not being said.
What was that character?
Who's that?
That's a hockey coach.
A southern hockey coach?
They concussed our boy.
I like this.
We're not going to take this line down.
They're more Canadian, I'd say.
No, wait a minute. That's Baby Billy. No, there was some Baby Billy in there.
I would be paying attention to what's not being said because this is a delicate dance. Because the coaches left this guy out there. They're not doing what John Cooper did or what Brendan Hagel did, which is up the ante after that hit. Like, you can't go for someone's head. They're not saying those things. They're not saying, like, we're going to come after Sam Bennett, which is something that you often hear after something like this happens. You know why you're not hearing it? Because they know.
Okay.
They know it was the shot.
That's right. Okay, you're every bit as sure of this as I am that there have been no black knuckleballers. I got it.
But I would be the first to admit that I'm wrong.
Okay.
If they try to take retribution.
Except in the Negro Leagues. They've been there.
I don't think our audience knows who the Negroes are.
Roy, me, Juju. I forgot Carl earlier.
You also said sometimes Dominique.
Sometimes Dominique.
Hawk.
He's not always here.
Yeah.
Hawk, definitely.
But not I know there are two Hawks that are canon.
Right, Hawk.
Can I ask a question? They need to make a Teen-just show, right? Or like a 30-minute episode.
Yes.
Like they were doing they built all those sets just for the show for like 3-minute segments. They have to have made something with all of that, right?
It's the only criticism I had. Well, no, I had a couple of criticisms about how it all ended, but one of them was they have Baby Billy just quit the show in the middle. And I'm like, no. Like Billy said, I want to see that finished product, kind of like that season of Curb Your Enthusiasm where they did the Seinfeld finale over. Mm-hmm. And then we actually got to see kind of bits and pieces of it in a storyline way. I wanted that.
A Teen-just episode would have been incredible.
Oh, my God. Is Baby Billy as Teen-just?
The question I am asking Mike Ryan about Toronto and how these things could or would or should escalate. Baby Billy just exhorted the Toronto crowd, the Canadians. Canadians and Americans aren't in a friendly place right now, and already all of Canada is mad that our little team down here in Florida is the one winning the championships over McDavid and everyone else. Given the present hostilities in the world and given the hostilities that are generally pretty sophomoric and dumb in hockey, filed under code as a strategic move, if Toronto's crowd is filled with hostility, these are the champions and they're allegedly dirty, and you want to incite that crowd that you felt that championship team, after they gave you a dirty hit, score 3 goals, bang, 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 and get momentum off of a cheap, or what could have been a cheap shot. If you wanted to escalate the thing with misinformation just to throw a bonfire on crazy hockey playoffs, why wouldn't you incite the crowd and incite dumb hockey people into get the energy up here crazy? We're fighting right off the top of the game.
They took out a boy.
The crowd's going to be plenty rowdy. And look, there will be nasty interactions and retribution will be taken, and it might have nothing to do with Stellaris because that's just playoff hockey.
He'll get booed every time he touches the
For
puck.
heaven's sakes, Ty Domi's kid's out there. There's going to be.
Is Ty Domi's kid the same way?
Yeah, he's the same way.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Sam Bennett did kick his ass pretty bad one time. Mm-hmm. It was an ass kicking.
Thank you, Stugotz.
I mean, a dummy is a dummy.
Put it on the poll at LeBatard Show. Is a dummy a dummy? I asked the question poorly. You win again. I did not mean would one of Ty Domi's kids be like Ty Domi. That understood by everyone who has ever heard the name Ty Domi, that kid would be like his father. What I was asking you is, does he top Ty Domi on being Ty Domi?
No. Oh, wow.
Nobody does, correct?
The original is always the best,
No, the
yes.
sequel will never top the original.
I don't know.
You know what's random is Ty Domi and Tom Brady are friends.
What?
Like they're close, yeah. Yeah, when I went to an Inter Miami match and Ty Domi was there with Tom Brady, and it was like I was also like feet away from. I don't get goosies a lot, and I've seen a lot of people in sports. I don't get impressive. There was 5 feet in front of me, David Beckham and Tom Brady embraced.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa.
Well, hold on for a second.
And you're like, whoa, is that Ty Domi?
I was like, that's Ty.
What's he doing
That's
there?
Ty Domi.
Wait, do we have them? We have them as friends going to the game together, or maybe Ty Domi got his ticket on Game Time app and it was like, oh, I just happened to be sitting right next to Tom Brady.
No. This was around the COVID time, which was like the best time to be an Inter Miami season ticket holder. I know that's weird to say because so many people died.
I miss COVID.
But like
Whoa!
because of the social distancing, they couldn't be near the field of the players where the normal boxes are now for VIPs. So they were mixed in with all the season ticket holders. So there was like one rain delay where I'm just pounding my Miller Lights and I'm at the same like bar top table with David Guetta. It was wild. That quickly stopped. Yeah. They quickly put an end to that because we were in the free state of Florida. Look at me, but man, like that was a luxurious experience that was well worth the money.
Did you thank David Guetta?
I did for healing the world.
racism,
Yeah,
yeah.
healing
Ending
the world.
racism.
Yeah, shout out to his family. It's a weird thing that's MLS canon.
Did that happen at that game? No.
No.
was in
That
New
happened
York.
in New York.
That was in
during-
New York. Yeah, on the rooftop. Yeah.
Crazy time that COVID,
Yeah,
huh?
there is some good. There are some aspects that we'll look back and be like, I do kind of miss that, like hunting for content, being excited, everybody watching things together, the lack of traffic.
Oh, the best.
Dude, remember when we were driving to the Clevelander during those times?
yes, I do.
I was driving to Dan's apartment when the lockdown was really tight.
Yep.
Old wrestling videos.
Dude, the smell of that place because it didn't have a garbage disposal, the little everywhere.
What?
Yeah, it was the last rager. The floor was still warm from the last bachelorette party.
It's going to be in the book.
It was in the oral history episode, and we'll get around to that.
Yeah.
I saw Beckham at Whole Foods the other day.
Really? Say hello?
Well, I wasn't sure it was him, and what was weird about it.
Yeah,
What?
he's just got one of those faces.
Wait, hold on a second.
I mean, you know when you see David
you
Beckham.
sure now?
I mean,
Yes,
Okay.
I'm going to tell you the story. You guys are so quick.
You know he's 50.
still waiting on the Lebo story.
I'm going to get there. It was going to be the punchline at the end, but you ruined it.
Because of the Necros.
Wait a minute.
You know, David Beckham
Wait,
and I
how?
share a tattoo artist.
How are we
Really?
tying these
That's
two
a humble
stories
brag.
together?
Wow, I'm interested. Weave this quilt.
Let's see if we can. If I have my teammates with me on a Wild Willie Wednesday, I might.
He's wacky.
So Whole Foods, most
Yes.
famous person in the world in the history of sports, is arguably there, and you don't know if it's actually
No,
him.
well,
that
and
would
I'm
be Michael Jordan, but anyway.
No, it'd be David Beckham.
put it on the
Ronaldo,
poll.
probably.
Who's more famous, David Beckham or Michael Jordan? At LeBatard Show.
Funny.
I was at Whole Foods, and the person who went past me looked a lot like David Beckham, but was beat up.
Oh no.
No, not physically beat up,
Oh.
but it was wearing sort of a hoodie on a day that wasn't meant for it wasn't cold out
He
in
was
any
being
way.
incognito.
Yes,
Well, but you
trying
may
to hide.
no.
Did he talk like this and say push?
Yes, he did, Billy. It was strange.
His voice doesn't quite match. He's a little,
Tell the truth.
He's trying to weave, guys. I mean,
Oh, the player cards right now. This conclave is cooking.
Dude, Tops is gonna have the wildest release ever.
You want in on the chat? It's usually a Serie A chat, but now it's a conclave chat.
On the Tops, like insert, do you want like a
Is that
red
your boy?
piece or like the white piece of the garment?
Oh, the authentically worn?
Yeah.
Face
Game
death
used.
threats and criminal charges. The bullet points on these player cards is amazing. It's like fun facts.
Wait, that guy that just spoke faced death threats and criminal charges?
Yes.
What criminal charges is he facing?
I didn't read fast enough.
Anyways, Posh.
Good prep.
Father Yuri,
Not prep. It's live.
Yeah.
but why is he up for this position?
the Ohio State University.
Chris Lamb is a great name for an orator.
Especially about the Vatican.
Yeah, he's the voice. So, Posh is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whole
She,
Foods.
she was not.
Then it wasn't him. They're inseparable.
I'm there, And I'm unsure, and I'm sorry for not having quite the certainty that you guys did when you weren't there at how it would feel to be there and see the David Beckham I saw. I don't know what he did the night before. I'm not here to judge whatever he did the night before, but it was unshaven and it was haggard. And if it was David Beckham and I'm expecting radiant sex symbol, it may have indeed been radiant sex symbol and old Silver Fox, but he looked pretty beat up from the night. I don't even know from what. And I'm like, well, that can't be international sex symbol David Beckham. But
said
I know
that?
You know what was going through his mind?
To myself.
Right.
You know what was going through it? No, that can't be the guy from Highly Questionable. He looks like now. What happened? What happened to his mustache?
Who's more reckless with their speculation? Mike with Boris Sanchez's beard or Dan with perhaps David Beckham?
No. Like
Hungover David
And
Beckham.
what he did last night.
I want to.
That's the part that's reckless. I don't know what he did
Yeah.
the night before. Just say he was in a sweater.
If I may,
No, but this is not. No, but you're asking me, why did you not recognize David Beckham? And I'm like, because Miami got him the night before.
And the hoodie.
What aisle are we talking here?
if I may,
what aisle was
I'd
he
like
in?
to revisit a new segment that I debuted earlier in the show. Is like if I could have a camera fixated on one person reacting to something from that day. It would be David Beckham sitting back and watching Dan Le Batard say that he looked haggard.
If he was there.
You need him right now?
Wait, can we play a game called What Kind of Milk Does David Beckham Get at Whole Foods?
That's
Oat.
where I'm going with this.
Oat,
He had
definitely.
to be an obnoxious aisle.
Oat milk.
The annoying milk aisle for sure.
If it was David Beckham, as
If.
you say. So
Did he have the wing tattoos on the neck?
He's this
Dead
is
giveaway.
So this was my next step, right? My next step on. I'm pretty sure that's Beckham, but there's a lot of tattoos covered,
Yes.
and the ones on the calves, I'm pretty sure I recognize, even though there aren't a great many tattoos that I recognize anywhere. It looks like that might be more David Beckham in that, even though, holy shit, did Miami get him the night before? International, what?
You keep doing that.
I mean, look,
I don't even know if it was him.
David Beckham is known to have fun.
No, hold on.
You know,
Hold
he once met the prince.
But what I'm
Like,
saying,
wearing a
hold on.
do-rag.
So imagine my surprise, right? When a man that
That's Idomi.
imagine what I'm surprised. My surprise when a man that I know to have the stamina of David Beckham enjoys life to be in a supermarket on a Sunday morning and be confused because one of the great legend partiers of my lifetime, international sex symbol, famous for a long time, seemed like he took a loss the night before. Tried to have fun with Miami, and Miami ransacked him and threw him in the produce section.
Can I present an alternate theory? Maybe his dog was sick and he was up all night because his dog ate all the chocolate that we left out for some reason when we went to dinner. And when he came home, he found the chocolate all eaten, and then he was up all night at the vet and crying because
Could've
I
been
can't
that.
lose another
Maybe
dog like
should've
that.
been, yeah.
Sitting at a traffic light, and then a
knows?
cop recognized him and
Crying.
said, "Are you Dan Le Batard? And also, you shouldn't be on a bicycle." Maybe that happened to him.
Drinking. Yeah, I googled. I did a Google AI. What kind of milk does David Beckham drink? And according to Google AI, David Beckham primarily drinks oat milk, particularly in his daily lattes. He also enjoys protein shakes with coconut water and a little creatine. Additionally, he drinks matcha with oat milk.
Not the night before he didn't.
Oh. It might have been a dog thing.
So I don't know. It is reckless. I'm not totally sure. But so this is the part, and this is where you guys are unfair to me, right? I walked past an employee and I'm like, that's David Beckham. And his response was, no, that isn't. That guy comes in here all the time and everyone thinks it's David Beckham.
He pays that guy to say that, I think.
The Beckhams have 5 dogs.
It's a lot
Maybe
of chocolate.
4.
So now I'm leaving the Whole Foods, and I was pretty sure it was David Beckham, but an employee denied it and gave me a story that was like, well, maybe it wasn't that he got ransacked by the night before. It's just a guy that looks like David Beckham and doesn't look as good as David Beckham.
That person's good at their job.
Yeah.
It's a good employee.
Actually, I mean, the answer's been under our nose the entire time. If anybody can mistake David Beckham, it's Dan.
Yeah.
Why?
How's this tie into Lebo?
I'm getting there. Please give me a chance at the tapestry, Stugotz. I've got it at the end. It goes from the Negroes to the dick joke. Hold on a second. Just wait for it. It's coming. I promise you.
Willie Cauley-Stein.
Good killer.
Where has that one been?
In Dan's defense at F1, I thought I saw Stassi Schroeder from Vanderpump Rules, and then I was like, it couldn't have been her. And then I checked on Instagram, and it was her. So it's possible.
Khaled may have been at F1 or
No,
may,
he was definitely there.
may not. Well, I was going to say.
That was Khaled.
You may have seen him or someone else.
He also dyes his hair like crazy.
Well, this is what I was going to say if you had given me the chance before interrupting me. I didn't know if it was Khaled because he had hair.
Well, he had gray hair, or no? I mean, Khaled had hair, famously.
Whatever
but
he's doing fake upstairs
I mean, there's a lot.
is obvious to all, even me, and I never noticed these things, unlike international insider Mike Ryan Ruiz.
Khaled's one of the goats of the game.
Put it on the poll. Is DJ Khaled's hair situation one of the goats of the game? I want to get back to just for a second. Mike Ryan being surprised that Tom Brady was hanging out with Ty Domi. I don't understand his level of surprise, given that why wouldn't Tom Brady respect a man who, in hockey, one of the toughest of the sports, dirty player, awful player, but respected by all as this human being is tough and is willing to be controversial for being tough. And when I ask many years later, Stugotz, is Ty Domi's kid as tough as Stugotz? Stugotz knows better than to say any of Ty Domi's kids would be as tough as Stugotz. As Ty Domi.
Yes.
But it is like they could be friends, but they're really close. Go ahead and Google Tom Brady and Ty Domi.
Why wouldn't
like
Tom Brady really admire the toughest guy in hockey who's a little bit dirty?
But you agree, if you ask Tom Brady, like, hey, list me your 10 or 15 closest friends, you would never guess Ty Domi.
Like, it's as random a pull as Thabo Cephalosha. Like, it makes no sense. The game's greatest quarterback, one of the most celebrated, handsome men in the world, he towers over Ty Domi. What do they have in common? I don't understand this.
Did he ever play in Boston?
Beckham and Brady being friends, that makes tons of sense.
Yes,
they're
of course.
constantly. Is Ty Domi getting invited to all these galas? Has Ty Domi ever received an invitation to the Met? No way. No, I would have just assumed that Tom Brady's friend group is either former Patriots, Bucks, former Michigan guys, or athletes that also get invites to the Met.
Or the President of the United States.
Yes. Yeah. He will refuse to admit that he's wrong.
So I'm leaving the Whole Foods. And another employee that I talk there all the time and is a sports fan, and we always have sports conversations about things. I'm looking over my shoulder, and I'm now doubting what I think I saw with my own eyes because an employee had absolutely dissuaded me of this, and it didn't seem like anyone else in the store was reacting around him. But South Florida can be pretty interesting that way in terms of tourism and international things where famous people can go to a Whole Foods and not get noticed because, over there, that's just all Ecuadorian people and or whatever. They don't know who
The
somebody
Ecuadorians
is.
would recognize
No,
David
whatever doesn't know what David Beckham is or LeBron James or whoever it is would walk into a Whole Food, whatever the nationality would be. We could play that game if you guys want to play that game.
I'd have more faith in the Ecuadorians recognizing
Yes,
David
you're right.
Beckham.
It was a bad example by me.
The man in the yellow hat from Curious George, Hat Hall of Fame.
What about Tom Landry? Did we ever put him in?
Yes.
Yeah, you
I-
Staple.
But we didn't.
I've
I
never
don't-
been more certain than anything in my entire life that this was not David Beckham.
Okay, so
I'm
that's
very confused. It may have been an Ecuadorian.
so excellent work, Mike, because this will bring us somewhat full circle before I get to the end of the story with my brother and Adam Silver, because you are going to have to admit you're wrong again.
Ah, damn it. As soon as I said it, I'm like, damn it, he knows it's David Beckham.
Man.
And I love being able to trap you, even though you're always right. But you're on a new path here. You're growing as a human being. You're willing to admit you're wrong as a political platform in America when no one's willing to admit they're wrong.
I correct you. I've been on this admitting I'm wrong bandwagon for like 2 years, and you're just getting wise to it.
I thought you said 2 weeks.
No. It's been a thing. I gladly admit that I'm wrong. The 2017 Miami Hurricane season scarred me for life.
And this employee, as I'm leaving, I say to him, I'm pretty sure that was David Beckham. And he's like, I don't think it was. And I'm like, your guy said that wasn't David Beckham, but that looked like David Beckham. Why aren't, can you go find out if that was David Beckham?
You said that to the employee?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because of this. Because of this. Because if
Wait.
I tell you guys the story, I have to have the punchline. It's all content.
That is a crazy thing to ask.
That is
somebody.
wild. But
That is
also,
crazy.
I'm thinking about the employee who listened to you? Who's like,
The employee that insisted that it's not David Beckham.
No, wait a minute.
it's a different one?
No, wait a minute. No, you got it wrong. No.
this is Steve Wolf's
Well,
daughter.
then hand up. I'm sorry, I got it wrong. You can't have a name Steve and then just name your daughter Eve.
Oh, you're not saying
I
that.
can't do it. Yeah.
I'm just look. I know I was trying to protect, but like, come on.
Eve Wolf is related to Steve Wolf?
You have a son named Ste?
That's it's ridiculous.
Cleve Wolf.
It's
Come here, Ste. Where's Eve?
weird. I mean, I guess it's kind of funny.
If you named your daughter Even, would it be Even or Ephen?
Wow.
Gotta go with the E.
Yeah.
I would do PH.
So you asked another employee.
Yep.
Did you offer a tip?
I'm sorry. I'm still not the same from the Negroes, but I've now been undercut by Steve Wolf's daughter. So I am not myself right now. I need to gather myself for a second.
Which one is Lebo's daughter?
We're getting there.
Domi and Brady are best friends. So are the kids.
So weird, right?
Yeah.
Famous people. They just all know each other.
Yeah, but that's a weird combination.
Well, you would think so, but at Whole Foods, they didn't.
Charles Manson.
So what did that
Famous
even?
person was there.
What did the employee do once you gave him a task?
I understand how you think this is rude. Again, you guys are listening to portions and pieces of the story and not all of the story, because in your zeal to make fun of me and make this story less good than it actually is, I can't actually get the story out.
Land the plane, Dana.
I'm trying, but it's a wild Billy Wednesday.
Dude, the rehearsal is crazy this
It is
year,
nuts.
right? Crazy.
It's nuts how good that show is. It is nuts. I mean, that's one of the best shows in the history of television.
We watched the first episode, and he did this whole thing with the pilots. We were like, and he recreated the Houston airport. And I said, it can't get crazier than this. And then episode 2, we see the Paramount Plus Germany and Jeff the pilot. And I'm like, it can't get crazier than this. Yeah. And then episode 3, he recreates Sully Sullenberger's life from birth, including breastfeeding.
That segment was brought to you by HBO Max. HBO Max. We pay podcasts to talk about our shows.
I think
no one else
I think
will.
it's just called Max, and our
Oh.
show is available on there.
They also don't pay us. That was a joke, but people think they do. To talk about their shows.
So Eve Wolf, huh?
This is a thing on Wild Billy Wednesday. Huh?
Aqua?
Wild Billy Wednesday.
I did not send or summon someone with a task.
Huh.
Go find out if that's
Actually,
Beckham
hold
for me.
on. Go find out if that's David Beckham.
Did you get off your horse when
Look,
you asked them to do
I
it?
admitted that I was wrong because apparently this is David Beckham. All right, we'll get there. But that is 100% giving someone a task. And I will not get off
Okay,
this
Can you
hill.
stop stocking that shelf for a second and run to the back?
No. All right. So let me retell the story and see if I can get to the end of it and wrap
Retail the story.
all this up.
Ty Domi taught Tom Brady how to skate.
Wait, what?
That's amazing.
I want to play Mike's game now and just watch that.
It's a good game.
It's a great game.
Yeah, just moments in time. You get one a day, and it's like one interaction.
I'd like a daily nominee. Like I want to do right now a daily nominee of just one thing you get to watch, because this Beckham, this would not be it.
Watch.
You would be disappointed in this one. You would not pick this one, or if you did pick the interaction between me and Beckham, it wouldn't have gone well. But I misrepresented it the way that I framed it in saying I sent him with a task. A sports fan I see at Whole Foods almost all the time who happens to work there, who I have near daily conversations with about sports. As I'm leaving Whole Foods and I'm doubting whether or not what I just saw was real, and I'm thinking, can I bring anything in here on Monday that you fish will feed on? I say to him, we're always talking about the podcast, the show, he loves the show. I think that was Beckham. Was that Beckham? And so he's like, I'll go find out. Like, I'll go figure this out because I'm looking, and I'm not saying, go do that for me.
Okay, well then I admit I was wrong.
No, that's and fine. And you're going to be wrong on both fronts. But he then confirmed that it was indeed David Beckham, because by the time he got there, people were already taking pictures and doing stuff with David Beckham. But I was in the front of Whole Foods. And, of course, there's international sex symbol Gary Furman to confirm the report. that I was very wrong and he didn't have a haggard night, or
Look at
maybe
this
he
gaggle
did.
of Ecuadorians.
I don't know. Like you've seen in L.A., there's like fake, Power Rangers outside. That's not the real Power Rangers. It could be just an impersonator taking pictures.
Usually a Latino.
That's not what happened.
Confirmed.
Please, kids.
Ooh.
Did you talk to him? Did you go up and say
No,
hi? I'm
I
Dan
did
Le
not.
Batard?
No, I was close enough to smell him though.
Oh, and?
Smelled like last night.
Oh,
Wow.
this again?
You brought it up.
Ty Domi was a place kicker.
So the quilt.
Like Sirhan. USC.
Don't talk back to Eve.
We just talk like it's pretty crazy of a move.
I mean, Dion's son is Shador is famous, but I think he's got several kids named Dion, and I think his daughter's named Deandra.
But no one beats George Foreman.
George
right?
Foreman.
He's got 9 Georges, but he doesn't have a Georgina. I don't
Yes,
think.
he does.
Yes,
he
Yes,
does.
he does. He's got a
he does.
Georgina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Confirming.
I'm wrong. Admitting I'm wrong.
We
Doesn't that feel
attacked
good?
you.
It feels good.
It does. I haven't. I don't like to do it.
So pig-headed.
Stubborn, prideful, ego males.
Why-
That's it.
what-
That's it.
It's dumb.
Yes, it is.
It's really dumb.
That's right.
Oh, I
But-
didn't think that movie was going to be good, and it turned out to be good, and I enjoyed it. Like, that's a good feeling, too.
Ty Dummy.
So my brother's sitting next to Adam Silver.
Thank you.
And we're in a loud restaurant. And it's very loud, and there are powerful people there. And my brother doesn't care. My brother never cared around powerful people or important people. He always liked it to deflate the balloon. And as I said, he accused Adam Silver, I think, I'm pretty sure Adam Silver of coming in with a parasol because he thought that was more derisive than umbrella. So that's where the bidding started on the relationship between my brother and Adam Silver. And I was scared when they sat next to each other. And Adam Silver is a charming and nice man, and he is much smarter than Roger Goodell.
Do you think it's that girl Liba that works here?
Oh, maybe.
Wondered about her.
Maybe. I was thinking that.
Like, I've never heard this name before.
And I'm getting uncomfortable because my brother, again, it's very loud and it's becoming like sort of animated in that my brother's like, there's some histrionics involved and he's not mad at Adam Silver, but I can't tell if he's joking or not, or like, but he's elevated. My brother is elevated. And when I finally hear what it is that my brother said, like, and I'm not even sure I heard it. I had to do with David Beckham and sort of confirm it because of how loud it was. It was indeed that my brother said, What? A dude can't tell a couple of jokes?
From game night to parties with friends or special anniversary, celebrating important occasions means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975. Now's a perfect time to celebrate legendary stories with friends, family, and a great tasting light beer. It's Miller time. When I think of Miller Lite, I think of me and my dad cheersing, watching a Marlins game, on a cruise together. We get the and the cheers. It's just, when I think of Miller Lite, I think of times with my dad, times with family and friends. It's the original light beer since 1975, still iconic 50 years later. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Hello, Juju. How are you doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. After a wonderful show today, man. Like, today's show felt like the show that I first fell in love with watching back in the days. You feel me? Like, magnificent job, y'all.
Thank you. The old crew was here, and I thought it was going to be a bad show because Mike and Amin were going to go too serious on basketball, and it was going to become about Mike's obnoxiousness. But Juju, on alley-oop, you have to be, as someone who celebrates life and celebrates things and likes to celebrate sports and basketball, you have to love that basketball right now is rising to the moment after a year of people saying, how do you fix basketball?
Hell yeah, man. For the first time in NBA history, all 4 road teams won game 1 of the conference semifinals. You feel me? Like making for just epic television, and the way they win in these games is cinema, absolute cinema.
All the series have started. It's never been so early. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah.
Right. Also, shout out to Mike for bringing up Thabo Cephalosha today.
Oh,
the
great.
first person in NBA history to wear Air Max 90s in his NBA career. Crazy, man.
Dan, we had such a great show today. We didn't even mention that Steph Curry's hurt and may miss the rest of the series.
Oh, wow.
Right.
How do you feel, Amin and Juju, about Minnesota takes 1,000,000 threes and misses 1,000,000 threes, and Anthony Edwards, while a lot of fun, is to me slightly less fun when he's taking 40 threes a game, when I used to kind of love how often he was slashing to the basket.
Right. It's less cute whenever I think somebody tagged him in. He's the legend slayer. And then he comes out with this dud of a game. That's not as cute as saying Lakers in 5 over and over. He gonna have to show up, man, like, because the Warriors are for real. They not playing around. They doing all the things, especially if they're gonna get that game from Buddy Hield and the crew. Draymond Green hitting 4 out of something threes. Like, I think that the Timberwolves might have to look themselves in the mirror and realize this ain't them Lakers you're playing against. This is an actual squad.
To be fair, he came out in the second half and played a lot better, and he did the thing, Juju, that we wanted Jason Tatum to do, which was he said, the shot's not hitting, I got to get to the rim. And he went to the rim again and again and again, and he got fouled. He got 3-point opportunities, and then he took some threes and he made a couple. But I thought he got himself going in the second half by being more aggressive going to the rim.
Juju, help me with this visual, please, when you create it in your head. When the Timberwolves are holding up that mirror that they are looking into to show some accountability, who is the person you're imagining is doing that, or is it the whole group of the Timberwolves, or is it like who's doing that?
I imagine Maleficent. She's holding the mirror, and Naz Reid is looking at the mirror, questioning himself over and over again.
And what is he saying, though? Like, what when he looks himself in the mirror? Because you're telling him, hey, Naz Reid. Like, well, Naz Reid is a bad man. I like Naz Reid. I don't think Naz Reid lacks anything, but Golden State's got an assortment of championship things at the end of a championship run and at the end of championship pride, and they've got Jimmy Butler with them. And, hey, Anthony Edwards, this is what it takes to get face of the league as LeBron and Steph try to fix the end here, and they got to go up against that ogre in Denver at some point.
Right.
Who the numbers on him, possibly the numbers on him, his plus minus Stugotz, they take him off the court for 2 minutes and they're an okay team plus minus, and they leave him on the court for 46 minutes and they're the best team in the history of the league. And so what ends up happening, offensively and defensively, just if they can get Jokic not to ever rest, they're clearly the best team in the league and will never lose again.
Right. I think that in fairness, I want to play that game as well. Watching someone, I would like to watch Michael Malone watch Denver Nuggets playoff games. Cinema.
That is a good one. We didn't talk about Golden State, though. It's really cool, right? When a champion sort of tries to remind you the last 10
that they're the champs.
The last 10 years of, hey, if you want to take the league from us, it's the last parts of our career here. We'll bring Steph some days. We'll bring Jimmy others. We've just got to get to 16 of these. Everyone's afraid of us.
This is actually a pretty interesting development for playoff Jimmy. I know it's probably not what he wanted. In fact,
Steph being out?
It's the exact opposite.
Yes.
But if it's not enough help for him, he might sit out.
You got one last gig in you.
Hey yo, but yeah, he said that in the post game show, in the post game press conference, they asked him. It was like, what was it like? How did you feel about today's game? And his response was that Steph Curry is very important. It's way harder to do this without Steph Curry. Hopefully he's back. That was his only response. So yeah, get well soon, Steph.
He didn't play great offensively. Jimmy didn't, right?
He had 20 points, right?
But it was like
no, he wasn't great. I'm agreeing with you.
It was a struggle to get to 20 for him.
Yes.
He had a couple of timely made shots. He got to the free throw line a bunch, which he always does. But Juju, correct me if I'm wrong. There were a bunch of times where he'd drive and he was like, "Never mind." He'd throw it back out, and he didn't look like he wanted to be doing this.
Right. A lot of Jason Tatum style passes where like shoot the layup, bro. Brendan Pozemski, he does not need this jumper to be the shot that you go into right now. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe he need to regroup as well, as long as besides Mike Conley Jr. and the other folks.
I want to give a shout out to someone on the Warriors who every time I see him play, every time they turn to him, he always shows up. He's always a positive in the plus minus. He's always doing the right things. And for whatever reason, Steve Kerr has to wait till an absolute emergency before he turns to him. It's Kevon Looney. Oh, my God. Draymond has 5 fouls. Steve Kerr tried to keep playing him with 5. And then at some point, someone convinced him, like, put Looney in the game. And Looney got in there, and that's when all the shenanigans stopped for Minnesota. Looney, that guy's a grown-ass man there.
I like to give a shout out to somebody else on the team, Spencer.
Pat Spencer.
You put him, right? Pat Spencer, you put him in the game, and positive things happen.
Stugotz, that should be your favorite player on the Warriors. You know this guy was
Secret sauce.
Player of the Year.
Spencer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Player of the Year in lacrosse.
Oh, really?
He's a lacrosse player.
That's my guy.
He perked up.
Are we all giving shout-outs to someone on the Warriors?
Yeah,
I'd
why
like to
not?
shout out Draymond Green. He was great last night. How about that?
Now, Billy, was that the right amount of Draymond Green?
Yesterday was a good amount of Draymond Green. Juju, before we were talking about how you need to have the perfect amount. Not too much Draymond, but you need enough Draymond, especially during the regular season to keep things interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. He was the one being peacemaker last night in situations. That was just enough Draymond last night. Get well soon, too, Billy. Dang, unfortunate accident. We're not going to talk too much about it.
Thank you, Juju.
Third time in show history that someone's done a show with a neck brace.
Huh.
We lead the
Really?
league.
Stats at home, yeah. Well, 2 of them were Bobby Petrino costumes, but this is the first legitimate one.
Yep. Good point.
Smoke's
I would
coming out
also
soon,
like to
by the
throw
way.
in. I also like to throw into the fire and raise my hand in accountability. I did not know George Springer was black either.
Dude,
I thought
thank
he was.
you. Thank you especially. This was bad luck for me, I guess. But
No, please, let's play this game. Now, this Bill Simmons played this game a long time ago, the Reggie Cleveland All-Stars.
No, but that's based on name. It's not just – I mean, I saw this guy play.
Right.
He was playing
Right.
important baseball.
Yes, big games. Yes.
It didn't occur to me.
Dude, I met him face to face, and I was like, "You're black."
Well, maybe that would have been different if I met him face to face. I didn't have the pleasure. I would have been like, is he? What? Whoa, I didn't know that.
You guys are doing different things, though, because Amin knows the name George Springer doesn't sound black, and what Mike Ryan is doing is feeling like he's got optics to help him and still doesn't realize it.
Yeah, I guess maybe I was on my phone when he was that bad. I mean, he hit Springer dingers. That was his whole thing.
Yeah.
Mike, it's a little bit of a Fred VanVleet situation with the name. A little bit. Fred VanVleet, you wouldn't think. Yeah, you wouldn't
Maybe.
think.
I mean, when you met him in person, did he have a baseball cap on?
He did not.
See,
That
that's
was
it.
off.
There it is.
I don't think
there
it's
it
a
is.
Van Vliet. I think it's a Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd is no. Fred VanVleet sounds weird.
No.
Oh, the look. You're talking
We're
about
playing
the
a
look.
different game.
Yeah, the look.
Sorry.
Juju, do you know who the Negroes are?
Yeah, me, Amin, Roy, and sometimes Dominique, and Hawk all the time.
And Carl. Carl's outside.
Oh yeah, and Carl.
Just forgive. Is there any reason that Meadowlark advisor Jamel Hill is not in the group?
No.
Well, has she ever been in studio?
What game are you playing, Dan?
I feel like you
know-
got to be in studio.
You know who else is sneaky? Ty Jerome.
That's so good. That one's great. Well,
one's
that's
both
just the
games.
Jerome.
No. It ain't. It ain't.
I'll tell you what both games
It
is.
is.
I'll tell you what both games is. Isaiah Hartenstein.
That's a great
That's
one.
both
That's,
games.
that's
Yeah.
you know what? That's probably all timer. But Ty Jerome, surprising.
Tyler Williams?
I was like, you want to know how it went for me? I'm like, wow, I can't believe that guy's white. And then I Googled it, and I'm like, okay, well, there's a reason why you couldn't believe it.
So Juju, Naz Reid is holding a mirror. What's he saying?
He's saying you are better than Dante DiVincenzo. You deserve the minutes. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's little cousin, be damned. I am him. I deserve to have people with my name tattooed above their butt cheeks.
What's going on here with Dan Patrick and Family Feud? Has anyone gotten any updates here on our feud with Dan Patrick's Danettes and on Dan Patrick's, what happened with Family Feud and Dan Patrick?
Right. The Chatman 2405 from Twitter says, I need you to bring up how the Dan Patrick Show and Rich Eisen Show are competing on Celebrity Family Feud. This was supposed to be Dan versus Dan. I'm outraged.
New Orleans. That's right.
That's what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
We would have been there right now, guys. How about survey says?
Yeah,
You're too friendly. You made it Dan and Dan talking to Dan with Dan.
No, it was
featuring Dan
feud,
instead
but
of
it was the
versus Dan.
Danettes. The Danettes screwed that whole thing up.
Marvin Prince, it's all your fault.
They didn't like Stugotz's behavior in the back of the room.
I showed up late. I mean,
That's the part they didn't like.
I couldn't get in.
No, they said you were being louder than Dan Patrick and rude and drunk in the back of the room.
That's all right. Well, at least you showed up.
Thank you,
Yeah. Salute to Fritzy.
Fritzy.
Why are we saluting Fritzy?
Because
He didn't show up.
No, but I'll go to war with Fritzy. Why are we saluting it?
Apparently, I did.
I like Fritzy.
I'll go to war with him.
It's Marvin Prince's fault, I'm telling you. He's
Remind
he's their Negro.
Remind me tomorrow to go to war with Fritzy.
Yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir.
I'm gonna
Also,
napalm him.
No.
speaking of napalm, and Adam Schefter from the top ropes this morning with the George Pickens tweet. I didn't know that someone of his caliber can go for a 6th round pick and a 5th round pick from 2027. Like, a 3rd round pick and a 5th round pick from 2027. I feel like I don't understand how football trades work. I feel like he had more value than that, but salute to Jerry Jones getting it done.
I'm going to assume, without knowing anything, that has salary cap stuff in it, that there would be. I think all of us, I know they value draft picks so much in the NFL, but there will be no one alive who will convince me that value is better than what I might be able to, that whatever's in the 6th round, the idea of it is more valuable than the talent and skill set of a George Pickens. That's asinine.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking. But hey,
but that's
like
math. That's not about athleticism. That's about front offices.
That's about I have to pay the guy.
It's about
soon.
economics, about whatever it is that they're doing. Look, man, you guys think that the sports are being ruined with some of the ways they streamline this stuff? I mean, this is no joke here. Like, Anthony Edwards is playing in playoff games, and he's being quoted as saying, "I don't like to dunk. It hurts. Like, I prefer to roam the perimeter and take 13 threes and take my chances that way."
You ever dunked, Dan?
It does hurt.
That shit does hurt. Your forearm is all welted afterwards.
I don't understand how LeBron James's hands and wrists must feel doing that much dunking.
right.
That's why he spends $1 million on his body.
Allegedly.
The hands, though, like that. Do you imagine? No, does anyone talk about what the hands and feet of these people look like doing this for 20 years?
No, they talk about them playing basketball. No one cares about their hands or their feet. They make hundreds of millions of dollars.
I have a bone to pick with God at the moment, if we can.
Huh.
Here we are.
God,
Dangerous.
it's conclave day. We're watching the smoke. What's with the clouds?
Wow, Billy wins.
It's impossible to tell if they've elected a pope or not because it's a cloudy day from the angle we have.
Billy
Come
Joe
on.
Tolliver.
Oh, wow.
Polls, please. Can we get to some polls? Update them. That is a really
Billy
good
Joe
one.
Tolliver was the out.
You guys are cheating
was
with
the
3
out.
words.
I have to go to Kane's Insight.
Okay, see you, Mike.
I got to eat.
Do you miss the Tyrone Hill 16-foot jumper?
Oh, this is big.
62% of the audience says yes, they do.
Of course.
Do we need more Draymond being Draymond, but also less of Draymond being Draymond? 92% of the audience says yes. Is making passionate love and calling someone daddy 2 different things? 84% of the audience says it absolutely is.
That was weird, right? It was
Yes.
weird. Like, look, Samson's got some creepy undercurrents, but to be a germaphobe, like, listen, we had that germaphobe off with Samson and Juju, and Juju won and should have won, and he won, I felt like, on how eager David Sampson was to join an orgy. I feel like that's where David Sampson was disqualified, and it's because, everyone else is gross right up until you are.
Yeah, David Sampson is a freak bull. But Stugotz had a great question, and the chat lit up when he asked David Sampson, was he doing certain things with Paul Pierce?
Yeah.
Salute to you for that question.
Yeah.
The chat needed to know that.
It was fucking.
The truth.
Daddy.
If you hit number 73 off a knuckleballer, should it be diluted? 64% of the audience says no.
I am alleging here publicly, okay, that black people embrace Barry Bonds less because his record home run came off of a knuckleballer. That is no way to win a baseball game. It's cowardly throwing a baseball with your knuckles.
Is knuckleballing the exclusive domain of the white man?
100% has to be.
96% of the audience says yes, it is. Does Raj seem like a good time? Roger Goodell. 76% of the audience says no, he does not. Damn.
Juju, can you confirm? He's your friend.
Exactly. Raj is a great time. Yeah. He always is there to support you, and he always asks you what's happening. You feel me? Are you heard when you're in a hearing? 63% of the audience says no, you're not. Is Domi always going to be a Domi? 88% of the audience says yes. In the last poll, more famous, David Beckham or Michael Jordan? 78% of the audience says Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Those are your polls.
Rings in a box.
Can we add a poll for tomorrow?
Oh.
Was that David Beckham?
Oh, yes.
Wild Billy Wednesday.
I dyed my beard and Mike didn't notice.
Really?
Yeah.
Got
As
him!
soon as that segment ended, I went there. Jesse did some dye all over my beard. It's all black. There's no silver in there. Mike didn't know. Stood next to him the whole time.
Wow.
He's a fraud.
Those wacky Negroes.